I'm really, really honored to be joined by our previous Keystone Courage Award winner tonight, Fred Guttenberg. Fred has won the award after and recently released his book, Find the Helpers. Since Fred's daughter, Jamie, was killed at Parkland, he has made addressing gun violence a core part of his purpose in life. Recovering from this tragedy, Fred remembered the advice he heard from everyone's favorite childhood show, Mr. Rogers, Find the Helpers. His new book is about how he did that and how we can all become helpers in our lives. Thank you so much for joining us again tonight, Fred.
Thank you for having me, Adam and Rona.
Well, Fred, I really appreciate, reading your book and learning more about how you move forward. It's inspiring to think about how you found helpers in your life. And I'm wondering, how has that helped you address your work to tackle gun violence?
Listen, gun violence in this country is increasing still every day. You mentioned COVID, and this administration unleashed a gun surge on this country at the start of COVID, which only ensures that gun violence numbers are going to increase again. You can't fix this alone. While what happened to my daughter, who was behind me on that wall, never should have happened. And while I live with the guilt of having never put my voice into this fight before it was my story, I am now part of a mission that involves so many amazing people around this country, people who have been victims of gun violence, or people who are personal heroes of mine, like Ed Stack, who take a strong stand to do something about it. And just say, you know what? We need to win this for the safety of our kids, our grandkids, our friends, our parents, our cousins, people we love. And so in writing my book, it became clear to me how many amazing people there are in this country who have been holding me together and pushing me forward. And I thank you for asking that question.
Yeah, I mean, tonight's award is about people that have exhibited the courage and stepped up, whether they've lost someone or in the face of enormous opposition. And, I think we're joined by so many helpers today in the audience as well. It's really exciting to be here with you and with another real leader who's showing us the way forward to address gun violence, Ed Stack, the CEO of Dick's Sporting Goods. So thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Adam, and thank you, CeaseFirePA, for your leadership. I didn't come to this mission for any reason other than the fact that this became my story. My daughter, Jamie, was a victim of gun violence, but so is my son. He was there in the school that day, and he's still affected by that to this day. And there are people like that across this country. Because of what happened to my family, I set out on a mission to do something about gun violence. But there are people who, in the very early days of what happened, stepped up and have been a part of this fight from that day. One of them is Ed Stack. And the amazing thing is, before I ever knew I'd be presenting this award to Ed Stack, and he doesn't know about this yet, I wrote about him in my book because he is a hero to me and he is a helper to me. A little personal background. At the time that my daughter was murdered, a personal friend of mine was the VP of marketing at Dick's Sporting Goods at the time. And so Dick's had a personal connection to Parkland. Ed reached out through my friend to come meet with the families in Parkland. Now, that wasn't public because Ed was not doing it for publicity. He was doing it because he wanted to tell us directly that because of what happened, he was committed to this fight. And Ed, you have shown that to us every day. You immediately following Parkland made changes to your business model around the way weapons are retailed, around who can buy weapons. That, by the way, were followed the following day by Walmart. And we have since seen other businesses follow your lead because you showed the business community that you can take a stand on an issue like this. You can take on the gun lobby and you can be okay. It's not words when I say to you, Ed, you're a hero to me. And I want to read to you exactly what I said in my book because it's going to live forever. And I talk about the day you came to speak to the Parkland families. When Ed Stack spoke to us, he discussed the changes that the company had already made in the days following the Parkland shooting and the retailing of guns in his stores, reaffirming that they would look for other ways to go further and to lead on this issue, both in the business world and politically. For me, Ed Stack was not only a helper, he is a hero. Ed, I can't thank you enough. And this is the time, every once in a while, I still get emotional when I think about amazing people who have meant so much to this fight. But we're going to get this done. And it's going to be because of leaders like you. So thank you, Ed. As the former recipient of the Keystone Courage Award, it gives me great honor to now hand the 2020 award over to my friend, Ed Stack. Thank you for leading. Thank you for being amazing. And just thank you for doing this. Together, we're going to save lives.